I recently got into a discussion where someone asked me that if you have two equally qualified candidates, should you hire the woman just because she's a woman? And I think that having that type of approach is trying to take a subject that's much more complicated and simplify it and making it black and white. And this person was also a little bit looking to get into a fight with me. But when it comes to hiring, first of all, it depends on the goal of your organization. If you prioritize equality, that is something that you should be focusing on in the total recruitment process. But sitting at the end of the day in a meeting saying that should we hire him or her, then you haven't done your homework from the start. You need to focus on equality at the beginning of a pipeline in any recruitment process. So if you're working with HR, or if you're doing this yourself, or if you're working with a recruiter, you should have a focus, if equality is important for you in your organization or diversity in general, to have 50-50 candidates coming in at the beginning of the recruitment process. This can be hard, especially if you're not used to having this as a goal. And when you have a 50-50 pipeline, roughly, the second step is to make sure that the people involved in the recruitment process are also representing diversification. Because we know in these times that unconscious bias is deeply rooted in us, and we like to find people who look like us, talk like us, and think like us. So by having a diversity in the recruitment process, having different types of people recruit the candidates, you will also have different perspectives when it comes to who is the most suitable for the role. So that at the end of the day, coming back to the question that I was asked, if you have, two equal candidates at the end, should you hire the woman? It's not really that simple. In my experience, when you hire for senior roles, you don't sit at the table at the end of the day with the best candidate. You have candidates that have different profiles, experiences, backgrounds, strengths, weaknesses. So when you're sitting with your final candidates, it's more about being sure or having an idea, because you can never be sure, of what will this person bring to this role. And then you might have different profiles where you say that this person can bring this to the role, and since this other person has these experiences, we could bring that. And that's really where that discussion should be. So going back to, should you hire the woman? No, you should have the best candidate for the job, but you need to make sure that you've had a proper process to make sure that when you're sitting there at the end of the day, you don't have this was the only woman out of 12 candidates, so then possibly she was rushed through that process. And especially if you work with recruiters and you have equality as a goal, that they may want to make sure that, oh look, and we had a woman at the end, but she wasn't really suitable. And then you have that discussion where, should we hire her because she's a woman? Probably not, because she wasn't the top qualified one. So breaking this down, if equality is important in your organization and you want to get more women into leadership positions or managerial positions, make sure that that recruitment or that focus starts in the beginning of the pipeline, having a 50-50 pipeline. Make sure that you have diverse people recruiting all of these women and men in the process. And when you're sitting there with your final candidates, don't think about who's the best candidate. Have a proper discussion about who can bring what to the table, and then you make your decision based on that.